Secretly, every smart AI agent relies on one simple trick. It knows a description of a function, but that knowledge is useless. It cannot execute anything. It is brilliant, yet helplessly confined to its own world of text. It can talk about making an API call all day, but it is never made one. It is like a genius trapped in a library, with no way to reach out and touch the world. So you have this incredibly intelligent model, yet it is fundamentally impotent. Its vast knowledge of functions, APIs, calculations, data formats is purely theoretical. It lives in a world of abstract symbols, incapable of manifesting any real-world effect. All that potential, rendered useless because it lacks the most basic ability to actually do something. It is pure thought with zero agency. How frustrating is that? You have this system that knows how to solve your problem, it understands the steps, the formulas, the API calls, yet it cannot lift a single finger to execute them. It can describe the action, but it's perpetually stuck in description. All that immense intelligence is trapped, waiting for a command it can never actually issue itself. That's not a new model, it is just teaching an old one to use tools. Stop calling it tool calling. That's far too passive. This is the model taking control. It is not making a request, it is issuing a command. The API becomes its nervous system. Think of it as the moment your chatbot grows a spine and decides to act on its own reasoning. That's the seismic shift from a passive assistant to a true agent. You see, without this, the LLM is trapped. It can only think, it cannot do. This structured command is the trigger. It is the direct neural impulse that travels out from the model, through the API, and tells an external system to execute. That simple, structured output is the ignition key for action, turning reasoning into reality. Now, picture this result flowing back into the model's mind. The agent receives this new data, processes it, and continues the conversation with you, now far more informed. This feedback loop of thought, action, and result is what gives your assistant true intelligence in your world, not just its own. That is the power you can now command. It is not intelligence. It is just one clever trick. Think of this list as a menu of actions your AI can now take. When your query comes in, the LLM does not just reply with text. It analyzes your intent, scans this menu, and chooses the exact tool needed to execute a real-world task. This decision is the critical leap from a chatbot to an agent. Now, this is where the magic happens. It's no longer just thinking, it's deciding. Your model assesses the request against its available capabilities. It must choose the precise function and structure the exact arguments. A single misstep here breaks the entire chain. This deliberate, executable choice is the core of agency. Step 3 is where your code takes control. The agent's decision is now an instruction. You execute that function against a live API, database, or service. The raw result gets injected back into the model's context. With this new data, the LLM synthesizes everything, the original question, its own reasoning, and the fresh evidence to deliver a grounded, actionable final answer. That isn't just an answer, it is a puppet pulling hidden strings. Now, watch the code evolve. We will inject tool definitions directly into our prompt. Suddenly, This chatbot can now decide to use external logic like fetching data or performing calculations, transforming it from a passive responder into an active, reasoning agent that takes initiative. Now, I will code that tool. We will register it with the model. This is the pivotal moment. Watch as the chatbot's static knowledge collides with this dynamic capability. The LLM now does not just answer, it analyzes, plans, and executes. Your codebase becomes its extended reasoning engine. This is the birth of an agent. Watch the screen. We are adding a single parameter to the API call tools. Now, the model can request to run our function. It sees a question it cannot answer, thinks, and then asks us to execute code on its behalf. The shift is profound. We are no longer just querying a model, we are collaborating with a reasoning partner. But look here. The JSO is the contract. It is not just a response, it is a direct command from the model's chain of thought passed by your code. This structured handoff, a function_call, is the entire pivot. Your chatbot stops generating text and starts generating intent. You are not building a feature, you are wiring its brain to the real world. The single technique transforming ChatGPT isn't AI, it is a clever hack called tool calling. Think of tool calling as giving your model hands. It's no longer just predicting text, it's executing commands. You feed it tools, like a calculator or an API, and it intelligently chooses which to use and when. This loop of thought, action, and result is what creates a true autonomous agent. You can build this right now. But here's the real breakthrough. RAG turns that static database into an active toolkit. When your AI needs a fact, it does not guess, it calls the precise tool to retrieve it. This shifts the model from a passive knowledge source into a dynamic operator, using verified, real-time data to ground every single answer in truth. And this active toolkit becomes your automation engine. Instead of guessing, your agent executes, sending that email, updating the spreadsheet, or calling the API. You are not just asking questions anymore, you are delegating tasks. The model becomes a true orchestrator, using these real-time tools to take verified action in the real world. Unlocking external tools is AI's quiet revolution, and here's how it works. Let's build your first agent. Your research assistant uses function calling to transform, find recent news about AI into precise actions, first, a web search, then a summary. But here's the critical pitfall. Without strict prompts, it might invent sources. Your job is to define exact schemas and validate every output before trust. How do you stop it from hallucinating or calling the wrong tool? Your function's description is its entire world. Search web is useless. You need search a specific news API using this exact query format and return titles from the last 7 days. Precision here builds the walls of its reality. Vagueness guarantees chaos. And here's the crash. You built perfect logic but forgot the kill switch. Without a hard stop, your agent spirals, calling tool after tool, burning compute, trapped in its own loop. It's your job to define done. Set a clear exit condition, like a maximum call limit or a final success state. Otherwise, you've built a runaway train, not an assistant. Your agent executes a tool, expecting a perfect result, but the external system is down. Without error handling, that failure cascades. The next logic step, built on bad data, triggers another flawed call. The chain reaction destroys the workflow's integrity. You must intercept and manage these failures explicitly. They are not theoretical, they are inevitable.